So what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. In this video, what we're going to be going over are the top 10 fastest killing weapons in PUBG. Now, this is not to necessarily be confused with the 10 best overall weapons, because that would be an entirely different list. This is just looking at some particular guns in the game that have a just insane DPS or raw time to kill. It's important to know that I didn't want to include things like bolt action sniper rifles and shotguns to this list, obviously because these things have the highest DPS and can one-tap people, and this list wouldn't be very interesting if it was just filled up with those types of weapons. So that being said, you should find this list pretty fascinating. And before we get started, if you guys don't mind supporting the video, we're gonna go for a like goal because it's been a while since we've actually shot for one. Let's aim for 3,000 likes on this video. I'd appreciate that very much. And right after you've done that, make sure that you're also subscribing so you don't miss on any PUBG content that I'm going to be posting on here. We're closing in on that big goal of 250,000 subscribers, which is nuts. And make sure to let me know in the comment section, what is your opinion on the fastest killing weapon in PUBG? What's your go-to melt gun? And we'll see if the weapon you picked is on this list. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So coming in today at the number 10 spot, I gotta give it to the micro Uzi. And in my eyes, this weapon is so important to get proficient with because you use it so much in the early game in maps like Vikendi and even Erangel. And because of its just absolutely insane time to kill, that you can even beat out shotguns in close range when used correctly. But unfortunately with the micro Uzi, the only way you get that ridiculous time to kill is that if you don't whiff any of your shots, especially when you're up close and you're on a one-on-one gunfight, you have to land all of them if you want to get that instant deletion that the micro Uzi is pretty much known for. So all in all, the micro Uzi is great, but in my opinion, there's a big difference between using that weapon in the hands of a skilled player and maybe somebody who's new to the game and just picked it up and doesn't know how to properly use it up close and how to burst fire at a medium range. It's very niche and also situational. I think that's a fair statement to say. But moving on here, coming in today at the number 9 spot is another SMG. This is the Vector, probably one of the most polarizing guns in the game just in general. The thing about the Vector is that it's either your best friend and it's what you need in that right situation, or it's your worst enemy, and it's also really hard to prepare for and predict. You know, in the early game, you have an expectation that some players you come across might have a Vector on their hands, but you assume that by the late game, most players have either swapped it out and have an AR DMR setup or, you know, something like that. But sometimes the very last person you go up against, and if you're in a close quarters combat, you don't expect them to have a Vector, and they can absolutely demolish you with it. And sometimes it just turns out that you'd have no previous way to know that they even have a Vector on them. They won't even use it for the whole game, and they pull it out at the very end. And if you're in that situation, there's no way to counter the Vector if you're up close, right? You just kind of have to accept your fate. The only way to counter a Vector when you're close is see if you can get them to bait shots a little bit and then waste ammo, and then when they have to go in for the reload, you can take your chance there. But sometimes they just hit every single shot and the gunfight's over before you even know it. But now coming in today at our number 8 spot is the M416, and a lot of you guys that watch the channel know that I really like this gun. But it's interesting because while it is one of my favorite weapons in the game, it doesn't have a range where the time to kill is insane, but it has all ranges where the time to kill is very good. The up close, medium, and even surprisingly long range are all solid with the M416. You know, some of the guns that we previously talked about are great at their given ranges, but are miserable at anything outside of 40 meters. But that's what I love about the M4 is that it can do all of the ranges. But keep in mind, this gun, again, it's not a bullet hose. It's not something that will delete people instantly from across the map. It's something that you've got to get good with, but once you do, it's very rewarding. A lot of the other 5.56 assault rifles don't have an insane time to kill, and same thing with the M4. They're all like good at their job, but 7.62 per shot is just going to do overall more damage. So if we're looking at just fastest DPS and fastest time to kill, the M4 I think should be up there, but maybe not in the highest spot. But as far as the other standard 5.56 ARs go, the M416 has to be at least one of the best, if not the king, of all of the regular ARs. Of course, personal preference is a factor, but I don't think anybody's trying to make the argument that the M416 is a bad gun. It's never a bad choice. Taking the number 7 spot is one of the more unique guns in the game, the M249 LMG. Now, this is airdrops only, so the amount of time you're going to see this in game is, I would say, marginally rare. And while personally, I'm not a huge fan of this gun, like, I like it, it's fun, it's unique, it's a cool gun to play with, but I don't like the way it handles sometimes. People swear by this gun being the fastest killing weapon in the game, and statistically, that's not entirely true, but it is a very fast killing weapon. The great thing about this gun is that it wrecks at close range. Anything at close/medium, if you go up against this, you blink in a gunfight and you're dead. But at some of the more longer ranges, if somebody's firing at you, then it's really hard for them to control the weapon and keep it steady, and also spraying at a long range is incredibly hard with this gun. So just some friendly, helpful advice to you. If you see this gun in the kill feed and you're imminently about to go up against it, keep a safe distance and keep them at an arm's length. But the gun taking the number 6 spot now is the AUG A3 assault rifle, and this is just the M416's big brother. Now, there is something to be said about if you're better with the M4, if you're just more familiar with it, you might perform better than you would with the AUG, but statistically, this gun is just simply going to kill faster. The bullets hit much harder than the M416. The body hit impact power is ridiculous on this weapon, and the bullets travel faster than the M4. Now, they have the same base damage, but just all the other statistics that are at play are going to make the AUG a better choice. And this is airdrops only, and like after some thought, I think it's a good idea that they keep it in drops, because if this was a common spawn, it would just dump all over the rest of the ARs, and there would be zero incentive, I mean zero incentive, to run any of the other guns that isn't the AUG. Even to this day, if you're going up against an enemy that you know is already running the AUG, it's scary going up and fighting them, just because you know damn well how devastating this gun can be if people hit their shots. But moving on here, and a weapon that is very unorthodox that I thought should make the list and come in today at the number 5 spot has to be none other than my boy, the SKS. And for some reason, it's been getting increasingly popular to play with a low magnification scope like a red dot or a 2x or something and go around with the SKS and single tap people. I didn't think I'd ever see the day where people would start playing like that, playing a DMR like it's an assault rifle. It's very strange. Like, just imagine using an SKS with a red dot and going around acting like it's pretty much a shotgun when you get into close range. It's wild. After some experimentation, I found out why people started to run this, because it's actually very effective. And the reason for that is because when you hit the first shot, if you're able to hit yours first, then it's going to throw off their aim because of how hard the SKS hits, meaning that you can just get either 1 or 2 more shots in and they are like deleted without any chance of fighting back. The time to kill, if you put everything on point or if you hit a headshot, is insanely quick. And of course, if you got to shoot someone far away, it's not hard to put a scope and do just the exact same thing. And with the new canted sight attachment, this is going to make playing with the SKS up close and far much easier on every single player. So I would say that this kind of playstyle you can expect to get a little bit more popular. But we couldn't talk about the SKS having a fast time to kill if we didn't talk about the Mark 14. Now, if you want to make this comparison in your mind, the M416 is equivalent to the SKS as the AUG A3 is equivalent to the Mark 14. Like, this is a monster in every sense of the word, and I'm at the point where I really think this might be the best gun in the game. It doesn't have the fastest time to kill overall, but it does have every single versatile utility that you could ever want in a weapon. The edge that this has over the SKS is it has a full auto mode, and the recoil is much easier controlled than the SKS. It doesn't even need as many attachments as the SK does. I talked about the AUG being scary when you see that on the battlefield or in the kill feed or something, but you have no idea the fear when you're going up someone against with a Mark 14. It's a really good thing, in my opinion, that this gun is so rare, because otherwise, if it wasn't, I think we'd have a lot more complaints about this being the most unbalanced gun in the game, but I don't think that's an issue right now just because of how rare it is on the battlefield. And if you get killed by something over and over again and quite a lot, then you're gonna have a complaint about it. But right now, it's at the point where I don't think people mind too much. But moving into the top of our list, coming in today at the number 3 spot is the Grossa assault rifle. Now, I've talked about this in the past too, that I'm not the biggest fan in the world of this gun. Like, I really do like it, but it's not my first pick if I could just get any gun in the game. But there's no denying that this weapon is just an absolute machine. It's a real bullet hose. In fact, I would say this is one of the very few guns that I would trust as far as the assault rifles go, that if I were going up against a Vector at close range, you might stand a chance with the Grossa. Maybe if you hit the first shot or you're able to outplay him in some way, you might just win it. The Grossa is of course airdrops only, and it fires 7.62. Now, PUBG has been designed where the 7.62 assault rifles are just intentionally going to kill faster than, say, the 5.56 ARs. That was by design. They made it that way. But the trade-off is that, you know, you probably get a little bit more kick with each 7.62 weapon. They're harder to control and manage. But at the end of the day, the raw time to kill that the Grossa puts out is just so hard to compete with most of the guns in this game. But moving along here, and coming in at the number 2 spot is a very surprising weapon, I would say, but is a very underrated gun. And I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that now as a viable option. And this is, of course, the DP28 LMG. It sucks, man. It's just so sad that the DP28 has been removed from Sanhok. And I think this went under a lot of people's noses. They didn't know it even happened, but it used to be in Sanhok during the early days, but it got taken out and they removed my sweet prince from the loot pool. It's definitely not the prettiest gun to look at, but regardless of all of that, you can't deny that this gun has one of the most insane time to kills that PUBG has ever seen. It's really funny. I remember when this got added to the game, and there was videos of people who were dying by the DP28 that were claiming that it was a hack or they thought they were dying by shotguns because they weren't used to a gun melting this quickly. And it's even gotten a little bit of a buff since the time it's came out into the game, meaning that it's much easier to control now because that was the biggest drawback, but it's very easy to handle compared to the M249, which is the only other LMG in the game. So in comparison, would you rather have an easier to control weapon with bullets that are stronger and hit harder and is also significantly easier to find and you don't need to get it out of drops? I think that answer is pretty clear. I'm actually a really big fan of the DP28, and I think a lot of you guys in the comment section are as well. Let me know if you are. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, coming in today at the #1 spot, the weapon that just has the best overall raw time to kill that is still very viable is none other than the Barrel M762. And I would just like to personally offer a sincere apology to this weapon because I gave it a very hard time when it came to the game. I thought it was just a scuffed AKM and just didn't really hold up, and I thought the kick was way too much, but eventually I practiced with it, I got good with it, and I realized that this gun's time to kill is like something that the game has never seen before. The thing I realized is that the only drawback is the extreme amount of kick, but eventually you get used to that. Your muscle memory kind of adapts to it and you understand the gun, but the fire rate that it provides and also firing 7.62, you won't lose up close. I really like the weapon now. It's pretty much my alternative if I'm not running the M416, and I strongly encourage you, if you've never really given this weapon a chance before, if you just sort of wrote it off as one of the more average guns in the game, give it a try and it might impress you. It will take some practice and getting used to, but I think you'll be thoroughly excited with the results. I used to really like the AKM, and I don't know what changed. Like, I can still perform well with the weapon, but now, when it comes to the barrel, I'm always going to pick that because it just kills faster than the AKM. It provides a little bit more of a challenge, but the reward you get from it is just not comparable to the AKM. But I would say that the barrel is the fastest killing bullet weapon in the game right now. That obviously isn't a sniper or a shotgun or anything like that. But let me know what you guys thought of the list in the comment section down below. And let me know what you think of the barrel in particular, because I'm pretty curious on everybody's like perception on that gun, because mine has been very recently drastically changed. So I want to know what you guys think about it as well. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the video for today. Let me know what you thought down below in the comment section. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to also go follow my Twitter and Instagram. Everything will be linked in the description below. Make sure to do that before you leave. But anyways, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Have a good one, everybody, and peace out.